What's going on, everybody? Lubo here with my guide to help you get the s.Priest hidden artifact skin from the Mage Tower at the Broken Shore. Now you only have a couple hours left before you can get that, so I hope this helps you out. First of all, let me say this. I've had about 60 plus attempts using Legacy of the Void and only one attempt using Surrender to Madness, so I'd say Surrender is probably the way you want to go. Also, if you thought that you got screwed by Blizzard's awful legendary system and are currently rocking a Pridus and a s.priest, well, guess what? Those are the two best legendaries to have bad encounters. So, let's get to what I brought for this fight. I was rocking 4-piece for the set bonus, s.priest, Pridus, potions of prolonged power, drums, and lastly, you're going to want to use Bear Tartar as your food buff, and I will tell you why in a little bit. Alright, and let's get started with the strat. There are 3 phases with 2 transitions. The transitions are pretty much the same. So we're going to get started with phase 1. The first phase ends when you get Karam below 35%. He's slow, but he speeds up, and if he gets a melee swing on you, he takes off about 80% of your HP, so you really don't want to get hit. The strategy I used here is to kite his dumbass around the island, and when he reached 40-ish%, I drag him to the center with his brother. I use a combination of sprinting with body and soul, mind play and mind bomb to keep my distance. I did this because for the most part he drops purple pools that slow you down, and I didn't want to deal with that stuff. This is a short transition. Ray starts casting shadow bolts and spawns shadow fiends that try to get to you. You will have to kill them, but the boss will telegraph where he'll spawn the ads, so you can manipulate that. I tried to get them to spawn as close to Karam as possible, that way I could extend my dots using Void Bolt. You'll see that I would use Shadow Red Paint to dot them up with a mouse over macro, and whenever possible I'd use VT so I can get healed. Eventually they will trickle down. Now here's where the Bear Tartar comes into play. That is, every single time one of those ads dies, it procs the food and gives you a nice little speed boost, so that way you can essentially keep mobile. In phase 2, Karam starts to chase you again. You kite him and the ads around for a bit. In this phase, he spawns a hand from beyond that has a cast time that needs to be interrupted. Now, it's very important to note here that the ad or the hand will always spawn directly behind Karam, so wherever he is, about 5-10 yards behind him, that's where it'll always spawn. You have to be mindful of your position. Now, I made a macro which I'll put in the description below so I can silence it, and essentially you have to burn down this ad, and you're going to end up having to go through maybe 2-3 ads per phase. Because I'm a Blood Elf, I can alternate between Silence and Arcane Torrent for the interrupts. If you're not the Master Race, sorry, you're going to have to use Dispersion to basically avoid taking damage. The most important part of this fight is to bring Karam back down to 35% as quickly as possible, so try to make sure that your dots are on him at all times. Alright, once you get him down to 35%, one more time, we're going to end up having another transition phase, and this is where I imagine most people will struggle. The encounter is the same as phase 2 with 2 minor differences. The first one is you can attack Race, and your ultimate goal is to kill him. The second difference is that Race will spawn a new ad. He kind of looks like General Vezax from Ulduar, if you remember what that looks like. And he essentially will telegraph where the ad will spawn with a light purple circle, and all you really need to do is just stand in there for a second, it registers, and then you just sort of walk away. Now, if the ad happens to spawn, you're essentially screwed. You're probably going to wipe, unless you do what I did, which is I accidentally missed the last ad on purpose, because I was at like 5-10% anyways. The tricky part to the last phase is that as soon as Raced and Karam become attackable, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pop your Surrender to Madness, so that way you can run and cast. You're going to want to use your drums, you're going to want to use your potion of prolonged power, and all of your damage, absolutely all of your damage, needs to go on Race, and you're going to need to kite everything else around him, so that way you can use Mind Bomb to stun things. Oh, and by the way, in case you were wondering, yes, you still get the hands you're going to have to deal with, which is why that macro comes into play. If you guys have any questions, just hit me up, or leave me a comment. This is my first video, so I have no idea what it's going to turn out like, so I really hope that you guys like it, and hopefully this helped you out. Thank you.